Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore Podcast, the podcast reviews of movies and talks that nerd shit. This is episode 797, and it is your review of Burning Days from Turkey. As always, is the Nerds. You're going to hear the host of the show, along with my wonderful co-host, Brad and Yoda.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a wonderful, wonderful Monday night.
Monday night, live, early, and ad-free over on patreon.com/nerdcore. We can get this episode live, early, and ad-free before anybody else gets to watch it on Thursday around 6 p.m. Central Time. Before we can go ahead and get into today's episode, Brad, how are you doing, bro?
I'm alive and well.
Tired of shit too, huh?
See, so
yeah. Long day at work today, and then I went to go work out, and I went pretty fucking hard. Hard enough where if it wasn't for me, what's it called, stabilizing the bar, I'm pretty sure I would have hurt myself, because I was like, yeah, it's just, when you're doing that, and then all of a sudden you're like, this goes like this, and you're like, oh, well, shit, if I twist this a little bit more,
yeah, that's not gonna be fun.
This shit's gonna pop out. Brad, how was your day at work today, man?
It was all right. So just went to a lot of places and got it back to work late. So another day.
Another day, another dollar, right?
I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, Brad. But you know what, dude? Things will get better. I hope they do. But if you would please take a minute of your time, guys, to please go ahead and leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. We actually are at 579 subscribers. That means one person unsubscribed from yesterday. We would hope that you guys continue to help us get to 600 subscribers. We might do a little bit of a giveaway by the end of the year if we can get there to 600 by the end of the year. That is our goal here on the channel, to get to 600 subscribers before the end of 2025. So please make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you guys would like to, please. And so all you gotta do that and then click the notification bell so you don't miss another review that drops on the channel. Stacy, what does Stacy have to say? Wait, you get dollars? Yeah, man. Dollars. Dollar bills, y'all.
I don't know. We get change. They make it hail for us.
Yeah. So today's review is from Turkey. Film from 2022. It was between this or another one that was on Netflix, which is, I've seen the one from Netflix, but I was like reading the synopsis for this one. I was like, oh, it sounds really interesting.
I'm kind of actually excited to talk about this today.
What makes one of us?
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that makes one of us. This is the third film in the month, so I think we should just probably get into it instead of delaying the inevitable, right? So, with that being said, if you guys have not watched Burning Days, you should probably get out of here. We care about sports, but if you don't care about sports or you've already seen the film, go ahead and stay. Either way, how it goes, this is your one and only spoiler warning, and it is in effect after these words from our sponsors in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Today's episode of the Nerdcore is brought to you by SeatGeek. Whether you want to see your favorite band, sports team, or comedian, SeatGeek has you covered. We're proud to be partnering with SeatGeek to offer you $10 off your first order with code TheNerdcore. That's $10 off your first order at SeatGeek.com with code THENERDCORPS. So take a seat at your next live event with SeatGeek. Thank you. Now let's get back to today's video. Burning Days is a Turkish French drama and mystery thriller film directed by Emin Alper and released in 2022. A young prosecutor, Emre, is transferred to a small town in the Anatolian province and encounters an environmental and corruption scandal around the control of water. The film premiered in the Uncertain Regard program at the 2022 Cannes Film Festival, where it was a nominee for the Queer Palm, before premiering in Turkey at the Antalya Golden Orange Film Festival in October 2022. starring Selahattin Pashali and Ekin Koç. Cinematography by Christos Karamanis. Edited by Ayden Byrnes and Wolfgang Varder. Music is done by Stefan Will. And sits at about an hour and 44 minutes. That is a lie. I watched like almost a 2 hour movie, man. How long was the one you watched, Brad?
I think an hour and 44 minutes.
What the fuck? Canopy said it was 2 hours and 11 minutes. Well, whatever. I got nothing for budget, nothing for box office. I do want to read the controversy though. In December 2022, well after the film had already premiered both at Cannes and Antalya, the Turkish General Directorate of Cinema demanded repayment of the production funding it had granted to the film. Although they did not officially state a reason for the demand, it was believed to relate to the controversy around the film's LGBTQ plus themes. And apparently, central Turkey has an increasing problem of sinkholes forming due to groundwater depletion, as there has been less precipitation, which makes a lot of sense. Now, the whole sinkhole debacle is.
Well, we have areas in our neck of the woods that is dealing with the same things. I was actually going to look at those today. So
wow. Okay, so this movie ended up being pretty what's it called, relevant to well, somewhat relevant to what you went through today, huh, Brad?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not the first time it's been going on. The thing is it is partly due. Okay, I will say this: it's partly due to groundwater pumping, and that can be anything from housing developments to agriculture to the such, and also it can have something to do with drought.
Yeah.
I
Which in
mean,
the movie, that's kind of what it looks like it is, right? It's
well,
kind of like a drought thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a freaking desert. I mean, we go through the same thing where I'm at. We've been going through probably a 20+ year drought.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is you have that groundwater pumping plus the drought, and so you end up with voids under the ground where water should be. And so if you get a good rain or if the ground gets too heavy on itself, that's where it starts to form fissures or sinkholes.
Yeah. Well, Brad, would you like to open up here? What are your initial thoughts on Burning Days?
I want to hear yours first, actually.
You want to hear mine first?
I want to hear yours first, since you seem to.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna tear into this movie.
Well, come on, hear it.
I think that it's a really interesting, what's it called, premise. It's kind of like quite like a procedural in a way as well. It's to an extent. It has a lot to talk about the failures of bureaucracy and local government, which, you know, something that Brad works in. So, you know,
I might have
I
a
was
little understanding.
I thought that was interesting. It just never really captivated my attention. It never really captivated me beyond, you know, being impressed by, you know, like the acting and the overall look of the film. Like, just nothing really gravitated towards me in this movie. What are your initial thoughts, Brad?
First off, I thought it was a good film.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I think it's good, Brad.
It's not perfect, but I mean, I think it's a good kind of way of showing local bureaucracy in an extent, in that you have sources that are vying for power on either side, and then you have the public who they're trying to get to vote for them. And
Yeah.
that's really what it is. And the main issue you have is you have this really old family who has promised them the world, promised them
Mm-hmm.
water, which to an extent is probably their fault they don't have it. It is to an extent their fault that they are creating the sinkholes because they're pumping the water. When there are other avenues to get the water, they would just be more expensive. Then
Yeah.
come to say you have a family who do really shitty things. and but they also have the newspaper bought out, or they have family in the newspaper, and
Mm-hmm.
so they can get away with those shitty things. So it's just showing you that people with a lot of power, who is the mayor's family, who have been in that place of power for a while, who have family in different positions that allow them to keep that power, and that allow them to use, the people in their town to an extent, pull the wool over their eyes. Um, and that's where you run in, and I mean, you have this back and forth between this new prosecutor who comes from, I'm guessing, a bigger city.
Yeah.
That's where I got it from. So already he's coming to a small rural area, and
Yeah.
he's not trusted. I mean, there's some people who want him to do well. They think he'll bring a positive change, but the more majority don't trust him because he's from the big city. He wants to do different things than they're used to. He doesn't run in the same circles as everyone else, um, and that's the very interesting part of that. Is you have a man who's trying to fight these forces that have been here for a long time, and unfortunately, he himself makes his own mistakes that come back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah. Well, so so and the massive, what's it called, central lot, what's it called, the central, like, what's it called, thing that's going on here, definitely not relatable to national politics. It's all the up and up around here. Yep. The thing that like really revolves around this film is also the assault that happens.
Yes.
Um, and at first, when it happens, you're like, what the fuck? How could this like? How could this just? How could they not know who it was? And how can they just like? How can something like this just be like this hard to find out? And as you go through the movie, like, oh, that's why. Because
Yeah.
this whole community is corrupt as hell.
Well, and it's not saying the public's corrupt.
No, it's the
The
government.
public is uh, unwise to the
Yeah,
injustices that this family has pulled. And it begins from the very beginning of this movie, which I thought was a really good start. Is the conversation, um, the prosecutor. I love how they call him Mister Prosecutor.
Mr. Prosecutor.
Mr.
Yep.
Prosecutor. I found that kind of funny in a way. And then you have him and Celine. Celine is the antagonist in this film throughout the whole film. He's the mayor's son, but he's also an attorney. And I think
Yeah.
that has a big thing to do why he thinks he can get away with what he thinks he can get away with. And then he has the
Yeah.
postmaster as a friend, and a dentist. I guess they're very wealthy and very they have their clique
Yeah.
in this town.
And then what I
And
also what I
but
also found really interesting, Brad.
what I was getting with that was the very first meeting. He kind of fails at it, the prosecutor,
Yeah.
because he's fallen into, he comes in, the law is the law in his eyes.
Yeah.
There's certain dynamics in a town, like shooting the guns in the air. Like, yes, that's dangerous, and hunting and shooting in the town is dangerous. But if they've been doing that for 100 years, it's very hard to push back against that.
Yeah. And what I found really interesting is that the movie also kind of takes a route where they're like, how do you know that the prosecutor didn't do it? Because they're like, because at first we're kind of led to believe that the prosecutor just like passed out.
Well, I think it's
And
more to
then,
that. We don't know
yeah, we don't know,
because
because then they're like, oh no, he didn't fully pass out.
because we have a narrator we can't believe.
Yeah. The
Fully,
unreliable
because
narrator, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's unreliable narrator.
So,
If you've ever been blackout drunk, it's amazing how well they do that in this film. Being blackout drunk, and he's just
yeah.
has pieces, like he wakes up to pieces. That's like
Yeah.
being blackout drunk. So they do a very good job at that.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it's so interesting because it's like saying like, you very much could become part of the corruption too, and you have no idea
Well, and
because like,
that's what they're trying to do, and that was the one main, like, that's why I think he was stupid in the first place, to go to that dinner, because they literally did that. They possibly drugged him. It sounds like they
yeah,
drugged him.
I think they did drug him.
I mean, I personally think they did, because he's like, oh, this is really strong, and generally you can tell if a drink is like strong for reasons.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to taste that higher alcohol, and if it's a different taste, And if it's affecting him more, yeah, it could be up to that.
Yeah. But like, to me, Brad, I didn't find the execution to really be there. Um, like I said, really interesting premise, very interesting. What's it called? I thought the acting was really good, but the execution just didn't do it for me, man. For a movie that's like an hour and 40 some minutes, I felt like it really dragged and dragged. Uh, but like, there's a lot here that's really what's it called? There's a lot here that really interested me. It just didn't really
I,
captivate me.
I do find it interesting that the controversy behind this film was about the homosexual sexual tension that's going on in this film.
Yeah, between what's it called?
And
Yeah,
I feel like, okay, so there's controversy in that, but there's not a controversy in the third time rape
yeah.
of
Third time, by the way.
third
What's
time
it called?
of an underage girl.
Because the guy brings up like, you told me that this wouldn't happen again, and then I'm like, again, and then he said like, oh yeah, this is the third time.
And
What
she got
the
pregnant the
fuck?
first time. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a bit alien. A corrupt, a bit. Hold on. Again, sounds a bit alien. A corrupt, wealthy family doing corrupt things or trying to corrupt decent people. Nah. Yep. Sounds. Huh. Gotta put my finger on it, huh? Yeah.
I do have to say, like, I really enjoy the ending of this one. Them running for their lives. Although I thought it was badass them just to leave the house with the townsfolk threatening to kill them and just
Yeah.
get in the car and drive.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, bring it. But then the last scene, the night scene, I think is shot really well. They're
Yeah.
running, and then the hunters, this clique of these wealthy, horrible people almost fall into the sinkhole that was their very own creation that they
Mm-hmm.
caused. And on the other side, you see the prosecutor and the publisher.
Yeah.
And I was reading up on it because I thought the ending was very interesting, and there were some who thought it was the dynamics between, you know, their beliefs are so far from the hunting party's belief, and so that's just showing that in visual form.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Um, but I mean, overall, just like I said, Brad, this is your premise and all that. I just couldn't like really get behind it all that much.
And I think just with my background, like this is in my wheelhouse. This is
Yeah.
like
Even
I
the
get
corruption.
not personally, but I mean there's always some sort going on somewhere.
Yeah. Touche, huh? Touche. Um, but man, like I said, I thought the idea was really good. I think the controversy is so stupid. Um,
I
they're
want
not
to
like
know what people like when I want to know those because we had a lot of Turkey watchers, a lot of people from
yeah.
Turkey.
Well, it seems like sexuality is a very taboo. Well, sexuality is a taboo thing in like
I mean, you
anything.
could say that in the states.
Yeah, but it seems that in Turkey, like it's a very taboo thing to discuss and even indulge in. Um, because I mean, the short film that we interview the guy for, it's about these two people who go, what's it called, who go to a hotel to have sex with each other, because it's illegal to in Turkey, illegal in the film. So it's like it's almost like what's it called? It's almost kind of makes me feel like maybe like sex and expressing sexuality is a very what's it called looked down upon thing in that society. But I don't know. I mean, I don't. I'm not from Turkey. I don't live in Turkey. I don't know anything about Turkish culture.
And I think this film does a really good job at showing that the prosecutor stumbled when he first got in there.
Yeah,
Like there is some things that you can change, but unfortunately, tradition usually isn't one of them.
yeah,
And there are other battles he could have fought than just coming out and being like, "No, this is against the law." Like If it's a tradition that's been going on for so long, yes, you don't want them to shoot in the middle of the town. You work with them on that.
Yeah.
You don't. Yeah, I mean, he in that first scene he came out just kind of like an asshole.
Yeah.
And I get it. That's his job, and he's worried about people being shot and such. But when you're faced with hundreds of years of tradition, and this is
Yeah.
how people express themselves in a hunt or in a celebration in that town, and it's
Yeah.
all over the world where they do that.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, and I think that's just showing. I think this is just a really good job showing of how someone from the outside trying to force a change on very traditional rural areas is going to have a difficult time.
Yeah. I agree. My final verdict is going to be a 7.25 out of 10. Pretty good. Just nothing that I was like really amazed at. I do, like I said, I do think that the strongest feat here is the acting and
I think
especially
it's
the
the
visual.
cinematography,
So
just
visually stunning.
the way,
Very much a lot of Western motifs
yeah,
here.
the way they use the uh,
Yeah,
drone cameras,
yeah,
freaking
and the
amazing.
way they lit the scenes at night too. Really interesting stuff.
Well, and just the opening with the boar hunt and then the
Yeah,
blood dragging, and you just have the car following the blood. I thought that was like an amazing shot.
yeah. So, Brad, what is your final verdict?
I'm going to give Burning Days an 8.25 out of 10. So I'm going to go just slightly higher. I think it's a really good. What would you call this? Noir, political drama,
I don't
commentary?
know, man. It's like very much. I think it's like its own kind of thing here, man. Um, such an interesting approach, man. I really don't know what it's going. It's very much like an investigative, kind of a procedural in a way.
Yeah.
It does kind of have instances of like the western, but I don't know, man. It's got a mix of a little bit of everything, man. And I think that's what makes it a pretty interesting approach to the movie. I just wish that it was executed a little bit better.
I mean, I think for what it is, and I can't imagine them having like a giant budget.
Yeah,
Um, so I think for what they probably had to work with, I think they did really well.
yeah. I'm like reading the statement here about the repayment, saying that like has pulled back its financial support, demanding the return of the production funding that Byrnes received in full plus interest. In an official letter, the directorate points at script revisions made during the project development phase as their reasoning. Comparing it to the first draft submitted during the funding application in 2018, it is noteworthy that this decision comes 20 months after we had submitted the final version of the script, including all the changes to the General Directorate of Cinema. Operating under the Ministry of Culture and Tourism of Turkey, has demanded full reimbursement of the production funding that Burning Days has received, plus the interest. Reason behind this decision, as declared in the letter, is a revision of the script. Under the pressure of a large-scale media campaign in Turkey spreading disinformation and defamation, which started after the film's success at the Cannes Film Festival and later at Antalya Film Festival, a major event for the Turkish film industry. Yeah.
I mean, there was definitely like sexual tension throughout the film, but there was
Yeah.
nothing flagrant like shown.
I wonder if it's that and also that, they don't like being told that the Turkish local governments are corrupt.
That could have, but that I mean, you could throw any other nation in there and it would
Yeah.
work just as fine. You could have made this in the United States; it probably would have been just as fine
Yeah.
because there has been corruption throughout any form of government everywhere.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wonder what that happened, bro. What happened there?
One
Um,
out of 10, fake movie, not a great story about some loser fighting a fine system of law. Thank you for your attention.
all
Was
right,
this
man.
Bigley and Stacy's opinion?
Yeah. Well, that concludes our review
That was sarcasm
of,
by Stacy, by the way. If people didn't catch
yeah, Burning Days. Thank you to everybody for joining us. As always, keep up to date with us on nerdcore.com, Twitter at nerdcore, Instagram at nerdcore, Letterboxd nerdcore, TikTok nerdcore, Patreon.com/nerdcore, and Discord link is in the description below. All that is where you can find us and interact with us. Of course, we would like to thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure that you guys are keeping up to date with us. And of course, thank you to our wonderful patrons. Without them, none of this is possible, especially our wonderful Stacy, our executive producer, where you can find them in chat, Discord, comments on the YouTube video, everything. Wait, you get dollars? Yeah. Excuse me. So check Stacy out. He doesn't have any social media to promote, but he is very active in our Discord, chat, everything. So if you guys want to actually interact with Stacy, you should probably join the Discord, or you should start, commenting on the videos or being in the live chats. All are really good ideas. We are going to be live Tuesday. Patreon. If you're watching this on the replay, not the replay, on the public premiere, you can probably check out. You can already check out the $5 tier and above. Watch along of the next episode of Fargo if you want to join the Patreon. That's for the $5 tier and above. And then of course on Sunday we have in the afternoon we're going to be reviewing the first episode of Gem V, and then at night we will be reviewing the newest episode of Season 2 of Peacemaker. Yeah. But with that being said, congratulations to everybody who won at the Emmys. Very happy for Christian Milioti for winning for Sophia.
I hope she's okay. She tripped going to one of the parties and dropped her award. But
I hope it didn't chip or anything.
But we're blaming the Penguin on that.
Yeah. Andor won big too. In his for an episode I still haven't watched.
It's only been a few months.
Yeah. I'm almost there, Brad. It's like one more episode.
I'm gonna have to rewatch because I.
Yeah. Congratulations to everybody. I can't wait to see what's it called. This episode of Andor that one. I would like to watch. But I've heard so much about the studio, Brad. And I wanna watch it now, but I probably should finish up the other shit that I gotta watch.
Yeah, probably.
I never did watch Adolescence, but I heard that one big. Yeah. And also, congratulations to Stephen Colbert, man. He deserves it. I'm 100% sure that there was probably a little bit of influence from the recent stuff with Colbert for him to win. But because I really do think that this latest, part of the Daily Show has been really good with the revolving guests and Jon Stewart being back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that should have won. But I'm pretty sure Colbert win was so that way they could give a little fuck you to Orange Band. So, yeah. But nonetheless, guys, I hope everyone had a great time. I hope to see you guys on the next episodes. But for now, we're going to get out of here. Brad, send them out.
All right, Raul. Thank you, being the host as always. Thank you to Stacy for joining us in chat. Thank you to our listeners, our Patreon supporters. We appreciate each and every one of you. And to end this episode, what are we going to go with? Okay, that was a warthog, not a javelina. If you watch the movie, Young Yoda out.